Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Earlier in the week, I made a video on how you should construct a cash game lineup. Well, now it's later in the week, 2 days before lock, and things have changed. Like Tony Pollard is no longer the starter, so we can't use him. So I just kind of wanted to do a final thoughts lineup video. Now, this is not the guaranteed lineup I'm going to end up using, but I just wanted to go over one quick with you guys with some of my favorite plays and a lineup that fits and makes sense for cash games. Anyway, before we continue, if you could leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It really helps me out, and I really appreciate it. You can also follow me on Twitter at ChrisPennell16. And if you'd like access to my entire NFL sheet with my projections, Slack chat, rankings, cash game rankings, all that good stuff, bunch of good stuff on here, like the player info, the matchups, the Vegas totals, the pace they play at, wide receiver stats, cornerback versus wide receiver data, which I think is really cool, really awesome. A lot of people do not look that deep into it for DFS purposes. Well, a lot of casuals, I know a lot of experienced guys will do that, but it's something nice to have. It's all in one spot. It's supposed to help reduce your research time. Instead of having 50 tabs open, it's to help you make your lineups. Everything's color coded, so it's not too confusing to understand how to use it. So anyway, if you are interested in this, links in the description below for my Patreon. I just put a 3,100 word article up on there doing a game-by-game breakdown. So if you're interested in that, check it out. And let's get into the lineup portion of this video. So up top, I originally was going to go with Kyler Murray. I'm not saying this is exactly what I'm going to do, but I think this is an optimal cash lineup construction, not an optimal lineup, but a construction of how you should build your lineup with some really good cash game plays as well. So let's go with Carson Wentz at 5,700. I think he's just a really safe play this week. The Eagles have a really high implied total. I almost said run total. I'm just in baseball mode, I guess. But yeah, he's got so many weapons to work with. Alshon Jeffrey, Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, Deshaun Jackson, Miles Sanders out of the backfield, even though I really wouldn't count him as a weapon for him. But yeah, he's got weapons galore. He should be able to be just fine at 5,700. Honestly, he should be priced in the 6K range. This Redskins team is going to be one of the worst teams in the league. I don't see Carson Wentz having any problem here with this defense. 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, I think is probably his floor in this game. And with the ceiling of 3 to 4 touchdowns with all the weapons he has. And if the Redskins can keep this game close at all, I think that would be excellent for Carson Wentz, and he could have a really, really good game. So let's plug him in our lineup. So that's our quarterback. Now for our 2 running backs here, I am looking at, I think it's obvious, you guys know it, Dalvin Cook at 6,000 versus Minnesota versus Atlanta at home. The Vikings are trending towards being a run-heavy offense, which is great for Dalvin Cook because he's healthy and he looks great. He looked explosive, looked great in the preseason. Had that 85-yard touchdown I'm sure you guys all saw. And Atlanta sucks versus the run. I'm not going to get into all the stats. I don't want to make this a big stat video, but they suck versus the run, and they are not very good at all versus pass-catching running backs. They haven't been for a couple years now. Give it the most receiving yards per game to running backs. They're like 30th DVOA to the running back position. Overall, the Atlanta Falcons are not good versus running backs. I don't expect that to change this season. Should be a heavy workload for Cook through the air and on the ground. Dalvin Cook makes a ton of sense and is a cash game lock in my opinion. He's going to be the highest owned player on the slate, either him or Godwin. I think those two will probably be the highest owned players in cash games. And then our next guy it could be a lot of guys. Like Kerryon Johnson's in a nice spot. Chris Carson's in a good spot. Leonard Fournette's in a good spot. But it's going to be Chris Carson for me, who actually grades out as the number 1 running back play on my model. Just value standpoint. And it makes a lot of sense. He is a 10-point favorite at home. The Seahawks are going to run the ball a lot. And Chris Carson is a good runner. He runs very hard. He's going to get a lot of work here. 20-plus touches is not out of the question. He should see some receiving work this season. And the Bengals defense was absolutely horrid versus running backs. Chris Carson makes a ton of sense here. He's way too cheap. His price is only going to go up, especially after this good game he's going to have. So I love Chris Carson. He should be an excellent play heading into Sunday. So let's plug him in here. If I can find him. Okay. So that leads us to the wide receiver position. And the first guy I'm plugging in my lineup is who I think is going to be one of, if not the chalkiest play on the slate, Chris Godwin. If you guys have watched my videos, I apologize for sounding like a broken record, but I love this game for fantasy. It just makes too much sense. It's a high over-under, 1-point spread, 2 bad defenses, high-paced game. Both defenses suck versus the receiver. Both defenses suck on the ground. Should be points galore. Bruce Arians is the head coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now. Chris Godwin should thrive in this role in an Arians-led offense, high passing volume. He gets a nice individual matchup versus Quan Williams, who's not a very good corner at all. Chris Godwin is a talented receiver. I don't see how we don't play Godwin cash or even GPPs. I feel like I'd just rather get different somewhere else. Chris Godwin is an amazing play this weekend, so I am plugging him in my lineups. And the next guy I want to talk about is Tyler Boyd at 5,800. He draws a matchup versus Seattle. Now, I know that doesn't sound great, but it's not the Legion of Boom anymore. But AJ Green is out, which leads Tyler Boyd as the number one receiver for this team. Now they're going to have to play catch up, so this game script should play out very well for Tyler Boyd. Is he the best receiver in the world? No. Is the Bengals offense very good? Not at all. But they should be down. They're going to be trailing. They're going to throw the ball. Tyler Boyd's their best option for that. So I think Tyler Boyd gets their own volume alone, 10 to 15 points, and then you take that for cash games at 5,800. So let's put him in. Then for the next wide receiver spot, you can either spend up and then spend down for a tight end or flex. But I'm liking the value of Curtis Samuel. He's going to be pretty chalky in my opinion this week. A lot of people are talking about him, but it's for good reason. Going up against the Rams, this game should be decently high scoring. Curtis Samuel has looked great in the offseason. He is fast. If he gets the ball in open space, good things should happen. It would only take one play for him to hit value. He's really good. I mean, I wouldn't say he's an elite receiver at all, but he is an above average talent, and he's got Cam Newton throwing him. He's got the shoulder surgery. Helped his shoulder out, should be fine. Curtis Samuel is a good player. Drag routes, deep routes, whatever. Get him the ball in open space. Good things will happen. 4,200. We do not need a lot to hit value here. I mean, the way this game should go, should be plenty of opportunities for Curtis Samuel. So I like him as my wide receiver 3 option. Then at tight end. So we can go multiple ways at tight end if you're constructing this exact lineup. Do you want to spend all the way up for a stud running back in the flex position? In that case, you're going to want to use Hunter Henry. So let's say we go with the Hunter Henry approach. That's going to leave us $6,250 per player, but we still have a defense. So let's just say we want to go with Christian McCaffrey, or if we want to go with Saquon Barkley. Let's say we want to go with Saquon Barkley. I mean, it's a tough matchup. I honestly don't want to play Saquon Barkley, so actually let's just make it McCaffrey. I know we have Samuel in there already, but let's just say we're going with McCaffrey. That's going to leave us $3,700 for our defense. We can fit the Eagles in. I don't mind this construction. And if you want to go with Zeke, and if you believe he's going to get those 20-plus touches, which I do. I don't think I do. I know I do. The Cowboys said they're only going to see about 20, 25 reps, but I just honestly don't see that happening. There was a beat reporter today that they expect Ezekiel Elliott to get near his full workload. And versus the Giants, that makes a ton of sense. Even if you use Zeke, you get 3,300 left, and then you can plug in the Seahawks, and that's good correlation with Carson. But also, you really don't want to use Tyler Boyd versus the Seahawks. But even if he scores a touchdown, it's really not going to hurt your defense. But those are just multiple ways we can go. But the way I prefer to go right now is Travis Kelce is the spend up. Now look, it's not the best matchup in the world, but Tyreek Hill is going to see Jalen Ramsey. That's tough. Sammy Watkins is going to see AJ Boye. That's really tough. Where's Patrick Mahomes going to throw the ball? It's going to funnel to Travis Kelce, in my opinion. Travis Kelce is a monster. He had, in a game versus them last season, he had 100 yards, 5 receptions, I think. Didn't score, but it's Travis Kelce. Two touchdown game, 150 yards would never surprise anybody. He's one of the safest plays in DFS every single week, or just in fantasy all around, because of the volume he gets at a scarce opportunity position, if that makes any sense. I think I said that right. But yeah, it's guaranteed points pretty much from Travis Kelce outside of week 1 last year. He had 1 point. But don't ever see that happening again. Travis Kelce is a monster. I don't mind using him at 7,100. And then that leaves us with a open flex spot. We can do a lot of things here. Do we want to spend up at defense, or do we want to punt? In cash games, I don't really want to punt. So let's just plug in one of my favorite plays at running back this weekend, and that would be Leonard Fournette. If I can find him, I passed him, I think. Yeah, 6,100, Leonard Fournette versus the Chiefs' run defense, which is awful. They were horrendous. If I remember correctly, they were dead last DVOA versus the run last season. Allowed a ton of points per game to the running back position. Leonard Fournette should be awesome this year, or at least early in the season, because TJ Yeldon is gone, so he should get more passing game work. And the way this game script should go, he should be involved in the passing game. They're going to have to throw the ball. And Fournette has apparently had a really good offseason. He was mad about last season. He said he has to get himself together. He shredded some weight. Looks really good. Now, the thing about him is his soft tissue injuries, but it's week 1 of the NFL season, so he should be as fresh as he's going to be all season. So I'm going to hop on that right now before he gets battered up. Fournette is a beast when healthy. He can. He's not just some stumbler like Derrick Henry is most of the time, where he runs into the back line, falls down. He's got breakaway speed if he can get in the open field. So I like Fournette. If he can get the ball in open space, good things should happen. And like I said, the KC defense is terrible versus the run. So definitely like Leonard Fournette at 6,100. He seems like a really good value. And that we have 3,200 left in this lineup example here, and I am liking. So you can go multiple ways here. I don't want to play the Rams, but you can play the Jets or you can play the Seahawks. Even the Chargers are fine. Not too interested in the Bills or even the Lions. I know I said I don't love to play the Seahawks because we have Tyler Boyd in our lineup, but I don't really think Tyler Boyd's going to absolutely crush the Seahawks defense. Even if he gets a touchdown, that's fine. I wouldn't expect the Seahawks to shut anyone. I don't expect any defense to really shut anybody out. And the only thing I can see happening for the Bengals is them score a touchdown and a field goal, really. So I have no problem if you want to plug in the Seattle defense, even though we are playing Tyler Boyd. It's not the best correlation play, but again, no defense is really going to shut anyone out. And they're 10-point favorites at home. They got Jadeveon Clowney. The Bengals offensive line is absolutely just murdered by injuries right now. Joe Mixon's probably going to have a tough time. I love the Seattle defense this weekend. And that's going to be it for this lineup construction. We have 100 salary left, so I mean there might be a little wiggle room for something, but I kind of like how this construction worked out. So, and there's a couple other ways to go. You could spend down for Henry and then load up on an elite running back, even a receiver if you wanted to. Then maybe spend up for another defense if you go a different route. But anyway, that's different later in the week look from compared to earlier in the week. So anyway, guys, that's all I have for the video. Remember to leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Really helps me out, and I really appreciate it. Love to get over 1,700 this weekend. I wish you guys the best of luck, and I'll see you guys in the next video.